Screech by Taran NCT on AO3. Episode 11, Chapter 11. Izuku and Hitoshi were sitting at the window in their classroom, staring in open horror as the crowd of reporters just kept growing. I don't think I've ever been so glad as I am now that Dad is underground, and Pa doesn't change into his present Mike getup until he gets to school. Seriously, Izuku agreed softly. Can you imagine if we had to walk with Present Mike in all his extroverted glory? The two boys shuddered in unison. I hope the rest of the class can manage to get in okay. It's almost a shame Shouta expelled Bakugou. He'd probably explode at the crowd and scare them enough to make them run away. Izuku laughed softly. The two pointed at their classmates as they attempted to get past the press, and laughed when Izuku noticed that Shouta had joined the fray to help the students get past the press frenzy. Ida was the first one to enter the class. He had managed to just steamroll past the reporters, most likely due to being a legacy kid himself and having to deal with the press before. Shinsou, Midoriya, how did both of you get here so early? He asked. Hitoshi snorted and glanced at Izuku, almost as if he was saying, just play along, before turning back to Ida. It's almost as if you've forgotten Izuku can fly. If he could easily hop a building with Uraraka, don't you think he could hop a wall with me? Ah, yes, my mistake. Ida apologized. I should have realized you could fly over. Wait a second, that would be unauthorized quirk usage. Should the teachers find out about that, you could be punished, possibly even expelled. I cannot approve of. At that, both Hitoshi and Izuku lost the battle to remain stoic and started laughing. Relax, Ida. My dad took us in the back entrance earlier the morning, Hitoshi said in between laughs. Izuku nodded, as hesitantly added, I've been warned about unauthorized quirk uses already. I don't want to ruin the chances I was given. Besides, I'm scheduled to take a test next week to get my flight permit license. Oh, really? Next week? Hitoshi asked. I didn't think you'd be getting it that soon. Izuku nodded. Kei and Sashi are pulling strings for me, and it'll be a limited use license, mainly for night flights, but it'll mean I could hop the gates if I wanted. That's awesome. I wish I could fly away with you and Kei once. To know what it's like. Hitoshi mused. Izuku laughed a bit at that. Toshi, you're too heavy for a real flight. I could do a quick flight, but even then, I wouldn't be able to do anything really fun. He shrugged and continued. You do know that I only weigh about 30 kilos, right? Damn hollow bird bones, was Hitoshi's muttered reply. The two of them were still watching out the window as the press circused, but still heard Shouta come up next to them. Morning. Hitoshi turned to his boyfriend and gave him a quick kiss. Morning, Shouta. Did you make it through the mess out there okay? I have long learned since how to handle crowds like that. Shouta turned fully towards them and gave his best. You're not worthy of breathing the same air as me, look, lasting for about 5 seconds before he broke it, returning to his soft smile. Dad's not good for much, but he did make sure all of us knew how to intimidate the press. That... Izuku had to restart his brain. That expression on Shota's face was just wrong. As effective as that was? Hitoshi said. I don't like that look on your face. Me neither. Shouta shrugged. I literally only use it to scare off the press. It reminds them that I'm still Endeavor's son, regardless of how I feel about that. Izuku glanced back at the crowd, as Hitoshi linked his arms with Shoto's. Looks like Sensei's about to head up to class, probably only having about 3 minutes at most before he gets here. At the others' nods, Izuku went to his desk. He didn't have to wait long. Shouta came in, and about 2 minutes later, this class started. They were going to be picking class representatives today. They decided to pick their class reps through a vote, and Izuku stared in horror as he saw he had 4 votes, and Hitoshi had 3. No, came Hitoshi's reply. Thanks for the vote, but no. Yeah, same here, Izuku agreed. Aw, but come on, man. Kaminari said, if you guys got voted in as class reps, then it's your jobs. Yeah! Kaminari and Ashido chimed in. I will fight you all. Hitoshi deadpanned. Actually, Dad, permission to take them all back and throw them repeatedly into a brick wall? You'll have to settle for a cement wall. UA doesn't have any brick walls. Shouta answered, just as deadpanned. You heard him, guys. Anyone who refuses me to let me pass on this duty, meet me out back. Izuku snorted, adding, can you take the ones who don't let me pass too? I don't think it's bad form to drop people from a few floors up. Sure thing. Come on. Either redo the vote, or suffer the consequences. It occurs to me, Ashido commented, that people threatening bodily harm to those who voted for them are probably not the best picks for class rep. Both Izuku and Hitoshi nodded and pointed at Ashido. The class took a second vote, and this time, both Hitoshi and Izuku had 0 votes, while Yaoyorozu had 4, and Ida 3. I can't believe you, Sho. The absolute betrayal. How could you? Hitoshi dramatically cried, draping himself on Izuku, with a hand out, pushing away his boyfriend. I stand by my decision, Shouta said, unapologetically. I almost did it a second time, too. Traitor! Hitoshi hissed at him like a cat. Yaoyorozu took the moment to slip into the booth across from Izuku with her lunch tray loaded with a double helping of rice and chicken. What are they being dramatic about now? She asked Izuku. Oh, Shouta voted for Toshi to be class rep. Toshi took offense to that. He snorted. I see. Would now be a bad time to state I was one of the other votes? Yaoyorozu teased Toshi. I'm surrounded by traitors. Turning to Izuku, Toshi demanded, who did you vote for? Not you, don't worry. I actually thought that the way Ida and Yaoyorozu took charge of the voting process was really leadership worthy. So I voted for Yaoyorozu. Oh, thank God. At least my brother knows better than to vote for me. And I didn't vote for you either. My vote went for Yaoyorozu. For the same reasons. He added, Hitoshi, how many times do I have to tell you to call me Momo? And now you too, Midoriya-kun. Yaoyorozu is too long for casual conversations. She smiled and took a bite of her lunch. Okay, Momo-kun, in that case, please call me Izuku. I actually prefer it to Midoriya anyways. Izuku admitted. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I am thinking of starting a class group chat. Do you want me to include that information for everyone to know? That's okay. I can tell them the group chat when it gets created. Izuku mumbled. When Hitoshi elbowed him in the ribs, Izuku repeated. I can tell them. You don't have to. Hitoshi said, and finally started in his own lunch. The 4 of them continued their lunch and conversation until a sudden loud alarm started blaring. The other 3 started to evacuate as the alarm said to do, with Momo dashing off to try to organize the mess of students that had become. But Izuku had collapsed in pain, clutching at his ears, trying with all his might to block out the sound. Hitoshi and Shouta dropped next to him, trying to help him but not knowing how. Izuku was crying, just barely managing himself from screaming in pain, and Hitoshi could see blood starting to drip from his ears. Shit. He directed towards Shouta. I thought his quirk was transformation, not mutation. Shouta shrugged and placed his own hands over Izuku's, and then covered them in ice, trying to muffle the sound of the alarms as best as he could. He does have hollow bird bones, right? I think we should just be grateful he's not screeching right now. Hitoshi hugged Izuku, and a moment later, Izuku passed out, still bleeding from the ears. Izuku woke up to what sounded like muffled speaking, and he remembered the alarm that had been blaring in the cafeteria during lunch. Wincing, he reached up to feel his ears, hoping to all that was holy that there was something covering his ears, and that he hadn't suffered from hearing loss. How pathetic would that be? A death owl. Thankfully, there were indeed bandages over both ears, so there was still hope for him that his hearing wasn't going to be affected long term. Suku. Huh, that sounded like it could be Hizashi. Was it Hizashi? Maybe he should open his eyes. That might help in identifying who he was talking to. Yep, it was Hizashi. Hey, Izuku whispered to him. Wow, or did he? Izuku scowled. He couldn't hear himself at all. Fuck, I'm deaf now, aren't I? He moaned. Hizashi laughed a little at that. No, you're gonna be just fine. He comforted Izuku. The bandages are pretty thick. I doubt anyone else would be able to hear through all those. So the fact that you can just shows that you're gonna be fine. Oh, okay. Thanks. Izuku felt the bandages on his ears again, wondering how long he'd had to wear them. Out of the corner of his eye, Izuku saw Shouta and Recovery Girl walking towards them. I'm gonna check these bandages, Recovery Girl said. I'll put new ones on if needed, but you should be good to have them completely off by now. Izuku nodded. I have a question, Shouta stated. Hitoshi brought it up earlier, and I need the clarification too. I thought your quirk was transformative, but this seems like a mutation. Well, sort of? Izuku paused as Recovery Girl looked in his ear, muddled by how it looked good, and walked back to her desk to do some paperwork. My hearing and eyesight, I guess, are both enhanced at all times. I can consciously change it if my vision is day or night, though, and of course, I have hollow bones, too. And your hearing. It is always cranked up that much? Shouta asked. Well, no. Yes? I mean, it's always better than a normal person's hearing, but I can make it even sharper if I really focus. I can pick out individual people's heartbeat from an adjacent apartment. Do you have any mutations that protect your ears from loud noises? With a screech like yours, I would assume you'd be deaf by now otherwise. Hizashi pointed out. After all, you know I am. Izuku shrugged. I'm not sure. Maybe. Loud quirk-related noises don't bother me. Only normal loud noises. Like Bakugou's explosions are his quirk, so they never really hurt my ears. And same for my screech and your voice. Izuku winced. I was in town once when you let loose on a villain. You were really loud, but I think I was the only one there that day that didn't have ringing ears afterwards. Continuing, Izuku said, and I'm okay, normally, so long as noises don't get above a certain volume or frequency. Police sirens are really close to the limit I can really handle, so I don't like to stay around when they have their sirens on, but the alarms today were just too loud and too high frequency. Izuku finished in a whisper, rubbing his ears at the memory, even though they no longer hurt. We'll need to see about getting some ear protections put into your hero costume visor, Shouta added. I think Keigo has something like that in his, so it shouldn't be difficult to have it added to yours. I have something like that in my headphones too, Hizashi added. Proper ear protection is essential. Izuku nodded. Why did the intruder alarm go off anyways? Freaking vultures. The press broke through the barriers and set off all the alarms. Alright, that was painful. that was painful. Alright, next chapter. Is there a chapter summary? No, there is no chapter summary. So we're just going to scroll down. We're going to read the first thing that I see. At the plaza, Izuku could hear the one with the light blue hair getting irritated at the fact. Oh. I'm not going to read any further. We already know what's going to happen there. Okay, well, I should have seen that coming on, thinking about it logically, that's the next, logical area to go to, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm going to talk about this. So it's very interesting that Izuku says that certain sounds trigger his ears being hurt. Like, quirk-related sounds don't really hurt him. And not just his own quirk-related sounds. Hisashi's and Bakugou's loud noises, right? Bakugou's loud explosions and Hisashi's, quirk, his yelling, doesn't really hurt him, right? Or his own screech either. But something like an alarm or police sirens do? That is very interesting. I wonder if there's like an unconscious, I wouldn't be unconscious on and off strain, or maybe he just has a deafening for quirk-related stuff like that. That's interesting. That would be an interesting, somebody just closed my door. I hope the thingy didn't pick it up, but that's an interesting, I wonder why that is. It's basically what I'm saying. Like, do you guys have any theories down in the comments? I don't have any, but yeah, I don't have any for once. Wow, the theorist side of me is falling. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm falling off my crown. Oh no. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.